Living with a man seems like a real life horror film. Like, I would work 3 or 4 jobs to not live with a man. Like, why would you willingly live with a man if you don't have to? God, no. Even if you are married to him or in a relationship with him, there's just no need to live with him. I know it's expensive and I know it costs a lot to live, but I would do everything in my power to not have to live in the same house with a man, because the amount of videos and comments that I see about women being sick of living with these disgusting men is just they go in the kitchen and they leave all the cabinets open and it's crumbs all over the countertop. And if they do cook, it's grease and seasonings all over the counter and the floor. And they half wash the dishes and pee all over the toilet seats. And when they get out the shower, it's water all over the floor. And they don't put their clothes in the dirty clothes hamper. They put it beside the dirty clothes hamper. Like, oh my God, no, 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 no.
I've looked at your social media. Okay, I've looked at it. Right, I make it a practice to do this before I make a commentary because I want to know if I'm conflating or if I'm projecting anything, and I'm not. Okay, 9 times out of 10, I'm not conflating. I'm not projecting shit. I'm not, coming from my own personal lens. So, all know how I feel about misandry in this supposed ethnic community and shit. You know how I feel about it. And that shit's not gonna change for the foreseeable future. So I'll probably be feeling the way I feel until I'm in the box. Okay? Until I'm in the fucking box. And I watch this goddamn, TikTok. What she's saying is shit. Living with a man is a horror and shit. Man. She's an older woman and shit. Kudos for the natural hair, but not so much the receding hairline. It's plastered on your head like a Gerber baby. Kudos for that and shit. Okay? She's a natural woman. Okay, lunch lady arms, wide shoulders that are the same width as her hips and everything else. Children included and shit. Okay, she does have children and shit. Older children. I saw a particularly chubby young man sitting with her on vacation in my hometown and shit. Having a bite. So it was good that she took her kids, on a vacation and everything. So I give her kudos for that. Being a natural woman and shit. Rocking what looks like her natural hair. In whatever condition it is. And not so much that receding hairline and shit. A jewel off hairline, right? She's not a tip, but she tells these horror stories and shit when she's clearly conflating, right? This reverse psychology and shit. She wishes a man was there to put up with her. Okay, we don't want to put up with you because you complain too much and you talk shit and you're passive aggressive to the ninth degree, to the max, where it becomes toxic codependency and shit. And herein lies the problem and shit, which is why you are single, or appear to be a single mom. I could be wrong. There could be some guy she's hiding in the closet that's he's on the torture rack and shit, psychologically speaking. And I would advise, if there is a guy in that house, I would advise him to GTFO, get the fuck out and shit, because you need your peace or you're gonna die early and shit. She's gonna put you in a wheelbarrow and wheelbarrow your ass into an early grave. But what will precede that will be lethargic malaise and shit. Your life will be stagnant and shit, and you'll just go along to get along, and you'll do things to cope, and it'll just be a shit show until you finally pop, croak off, leaving whatever little resources or life insurance for her to rifle through and spend on herself and shit. Probably not even her goddamn kids. Okay, we get tired of hearing this shit. Why do you have to get on social media and air your dirty laundry out and shit? I could tell you several horror stories about women cohabitating with women that would make you blow your mind and shit, okay? And you women do the same thing. All the shit you just said women do. They cook and, leave shit all over and leave a mess. Don't mop up the floor. Don't clean nothing. Don't take no trash out. No nothing. Don't do nothing. Modern women, right? Right? And I'm talking about women without access to, your problem, your resources and shit. Women that need to, blue collar women and shit. Well, let's call them that shit instead of just bust downs. They get in your house, they You're squatting that bitch, and it progressively gets worse. It gets dirtier, more unkempt as shit, and it's worse when it's a man's house. It's his shit. He has it his way. Then a woman comes in. You don't. We go in and we live in your fucking house and shit. If we cohabitate your shit, we live in there. And we do our best to go along and get along and shit, and try to keep the day to day up and shit. You motherfuckers come in and you make everything degrade. Okay, everything degrades and shit, and then you start infecting the motherfucking place with your ideology, your identity. You start doing things that we said that we don't like and shit. You systematically start breaking people down and shit. But first and foremost, I want to tell you, kings out there. A lot of times, I notice these women. You can tell them is how they keep a fucking house. Their personal habits. You know, their personal habits. Right? There's like nothing like getting up, seeing a bloody maxi pad in a wastebasket in your bathroom, just kicking, no window open, no nothing. Even if you're accommodating enough to take that out, shit. Okay, underwear, panties with a skid mark in it. Okay, right? Clothes just all over the bathroom floor, not even in a hamper, nothing. Uh, Use the shower, leave hair and shit all over the motherfucking place. They don't even, it's a common courtesy. If you got some kind of hair and shit, it's when you get through showering, it's to take the, probable removable shower head and spray it on the walls with some hot water and shit. If I'm being accommodating, I'm telling you, my level of accommodation is spray down those fucking walls, right? With some Lysol or the shower head and shit. And hey, if we're 50-50 in it and shit, I'll go and clean the bathtub out and shit. A lot of women don't want to do that kind of shit. I'll clean out the baseboards around the toilet, everything. You just keep putting shit in there. You put all your shit along the sink, at a precarious so it can fall in the fucking toilet and shit. Need I say more? Making food that I don't fucking want. I'm not adverse to explaining this shit to, you females out there, but a lot of times you do shit, you make fucking food, that we didn't ask for it, we don't want the shit, but you don't partake of it and shit. You just make a pot of shit and just leave it there, or you get real fucking lazy, right? You get real fucking lazy and you just buy takeout all the time and you just come home and just takeout and shit. That fuck up your body and shit. You work in a intense 9 to 5 and shit, or 8.5 hours a day, 40 plus hours a week and shit. You're ingesting that shit and then going to work. It breaks your body down. I can attest to this, kings and shit. I had a lengthy 2.5 year recovery time from that kind of shit recently. Okay, I'm still recovering now and shit because I was at later in age and shit. But I'm talking like in my younger days and whatnot. I've been in an apartment with a woman, the self-described uh, love of my life and shit. Right, an empty apartment. I had a prime apartment in prime real estate right off Hollywood Boulevard. Shit. It was an empty apartment. We were, I was gonna put furniture and shit in there, but I was working a job. I don't want to get into that, but that place was fucking filthy, man. There was clothes every corner, shit. And there's nothing more disheartening than seeing your child, your 3-year old, picking up the place and putting the shit in the walk-in closet. You see the 3-year old, yeah, it's just dirty shit. Panties in the middle of the living room floor, shit like that. Just the shit all over the place. And then go in and she had a vanity table and there's makeup and shit all over it because she's out fucking around or something. Just take your kid on a date with the side nigga. Hey man, I come to you as a regular guy. Okay, I come to you as a regular guy. All right, I'm not a paragon of virtue and shit. I learned things the hard way, like a lemming and shit. And so I make these videos so that you don't go where I've been. You don't walk in my footsteps and shit. Okay, don't walk in these footsteps. You can take 2 or 3 steps and then go the other fucking way. All right. I'm not talking about the person I am today. About the person I was in the past and shit. And I just hate it. I hate these basic women just sitting up complaining when they would obviously love to have any kind of man in that house, if only just to verbally abuse them every day to make themselves feel better because they know they're non-select and shit. And ain't nobody don't really want to take care of your motherfucking kids that you had with some other kid. I said she had a little chubby boy, I seen him. He was eating his shit. He needed a fucking haircut, by the way. While you take care of your own needs, you could take that motherfucker to a barber shop and buy him some decent clothes. He had shit look like the '70s or something. He was sitting up having a bit, but he didn't look happy either. You can tell just looking at other fucking kids. You're going out with some mom, some chick that has kids. Look at their kids' faces when you see them. If they got this kind of lethargic look and shit, they seen many other dudes come and go. Okay? You seen many other dudes come and go and shit. And we just get tired of hearing y'all bullshit. Like, who wanna listen to this bullshit every day? This complaining and shit. Then you badly built and you got lunch lady motherfucking arms and shit, okay? Alright? Need I go further? Yeah. I feel like Jasmine Crockett with that bad built, whatever shit she said, her porch monkey cooning ass. Yeah, I feel like fucking Jasmine Crockett and shit listening to this crap. Now, I don't tell you, badly built, bad attitude, receding hairline, single mother motherfucking shit. That little kid, I don't want to talk about that little kid. You remember that kid from that Monsters Ball movie that Halle Berry was abusing and shit? Because she didn't feel like looking at him and shit. And, Dee Dee was supposed to be the father. Maybe Dee Dee had the baby out of his pussy. Getting back to this shit, man. Like, a lot of y'all wish a man would waste his life, waste his time being a part of your fucking, your shipwreck of a life and shit. You want to make bad decisions so that you can abuse them, if only to feel better about yourself, prop yourself up a little bit every day and shit, until he flames out or he just goes into a living death and shit, till you put him out, you know. And that's the best thing you could do and shit. Once you done drained all his life force out, fucked up his resources and his credit and shit, drove him half insane with your children and shit, and your weird behaviors and your uncleanliness and your off pH balance and shit. Need I go further? Need I go further? It's complaining. Imagine if we complained about some of the shit we saw y'all motherfuckers doing. Nasty shit. Or just some of the shit we see y'all doing and shit. Just watching your personal behaviors. You know? Putting on a bunch of makeup, your pores all fucked off. Alright? Your pores so big I could eat a bowl of cornflakes out of motherfuckers because you wear so much makeup on your face. Not for my benefit either. And I don't know if it's for anybody else's benefit. You just want to wear a mask and hide who you are and shit. That's why your skin fucked up and your hairline sliding back to the back of your head like a fucking a yarmulke or something. Okay? Let's tired of this shit. We can't get anywhere with you people. Okay? You're an operative and shit. You're an agent of motherfucking chaos at the lowest level. Right? And that says a lot about you, that you would do something like this at the level you are and shit. And I don't care how much money you make because you ain't fucking happy. I wonder why you assholes are never happy. All you do is sit up and bitch and shit. It's because you want to just fuck other people's lives up so that it looks like your shit. Okay? You can't fix your shit. You can't find your personal happiness, especially with children and shit. And you want somebody to come in and shoulder that responsibility, that lifelong responsibility with you while you shit in the bed every day. All right? You shit in the bed. What? There's no sex you could give me that will make me make that decision and shit, or make me tell other motherfuckers to make that goddamn decision and shit. All right? You should be ashamed of yourself with this bullshit. Nobody wants to hear this crap from black women now, okay? When it's here, y'all done fucked off and shit. Y'all done fucked off all the matriarchy, all the power you had with the matriarchy and shit, and all the times you was next to seats of power and could have influenced them positively for our community and shit, at least in some respect. You've 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 blown that currency and shit, and now here you are sitting up making a shitty video on social media that we don't feel like listening to, but we will definitely respond to and shit because we should have been doing this shit about 47 years ago. Right? We should have been doing this shit in the mid 80s at the very latest, dealing with this shit straight up. Okay? The reason you're miserable is, well, if you want to answer that, you could just look in the mirror at yourself and shit. It's you. Okay, it's nobody else. It's you. It's not these men that live in your house. You should be thankful to have those goddamn men in your house so you can't communicate. You have a juvenile mindset that you can't even communicate your needs and wants and the things you don't want to see and shit. And honestly, listen to the other side of the argument and shit from the person you're sharing a bed with. You're you're not relationship material. Definitely not wifey material. Why the fuck would somebody want to wife you up and shit in these desperate times that we live in? This dystopian future. It's 2025, by the way. Your program hasn't changed in over 147 years. Okay, your program hasn't changed. Watch the fuck should we care? I can do bad all by myself. I can get a room, a single apartment, and I can lay my drawers all over the floor and do whatever. Watch adult movies and jerk off into. I don't need your motherfucking ass and shit. All right, you are a fucking insurance liability to anybody that fuck with you. And why would somebody want to deal with that and help you raise your motherfucking kids that they have no authority over and shit? And that you're gonna remind them every day and shit while denying me my basic piece. Alright? You wanna make fucking videos? I'm talking to not just this female. I'm talking to all you motherfuckers out there sitting in your car bitching and shit, making demands. Alright? And what are you offering? A half-eaten apple. Alright? I think the first bite was Adam taking a bite out of that shit. Like you, the worst thing that you could do is fuck with somebody that has nothing to lose and shit. That's pretty much the description of black men going forward and shit. We really have nothing to lose and shit. We could just, like I used to say a couple years ago, get a lawn chair, sit in front of my house, and lounge there, stretch out and, wait for the world to end. Okay? I think it's what you guys secretly want, but are too afraid to admit. Okay? It's what you want. Okay? It's all about you.
The Black Patriarchy. A non-existent group of fictional black male power brokers not discredited, erroneously jailed or outright killed by the minority majority who look the other way as they work tirelessly to shame, oppress, and outright take out the altruistic black female populace of the honorable democratic United States of America. 3K's inset bitches. These evil wealthy members of the black patriarchy are the sole reason for all the ills of the black community, walking, talking, holding down jobs, and doing everything up to and including giving their very lives in service to their baby mamas and baby's motherfucking kids. Their motto that strikes fear into the hearts of black women everywhere: bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.